Hello and welcome back to another episode. In this week's video, I am leaving sunny Devon. I'm in the car and not the van. I'm heading to West Country Motorhomes in Somerset to show you the cheapest brand new camper van that your money can buy. So if you're as excited as I am, stay tuned. So a camper van to me is something that has a toilet and shower. Obviously a T5, like a Volkswagen T5 or similar, is a camper van, but a toilet and shower is a must when buying a camper van. So in this video, it will be based on a camper van with a toilet and a shower. Are we ready? Are we ready? This is exciting. So it's an Auto Trail Expedition 66 and the on the road price, this is a brand new van, £54,125. As standard, it comes with alloy wheels, water luxury, the new Series 8 bumper with grille, which is actually growing on me. At first I wasn't too sure, but now some time has gone on, I think actually it doesn't look too bad. It's kind of got like a flat base here, which is a little bit strange. It looks more like a car bumper than a van, and it comes with fog lights as standard. This colour is not standard. This looks like an upgraded metallic paintwork. So the standard colour is like an Expedition grey, which I'll try and find because I'm sure they'll have here. I'm going to start down the passenger side. So it has nice big windows. It has the water point just here on the side, so that's where you can fill your water. Then has nice alloy wheels, nice big windows here. They aren't very tinted, or maybe they're not even tinted at all. So maybe that's something you'd want to look at. And around the back, two nice big windows, LPG sticker, and yeah, there's not really much to look at, to be honest, but you have to remember this van is just a plain van. Around this side, got wastewater tap, freshwater tap, the exhaust outlet for the heater, cassette toilet, and your electric hookup. It comes with these nice decals where it says Expedition 66 and then sort of like a black sticker. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on the new bumper, because let me see if they've got one with this. Here we go. So this here is the old bumper, and this is the upgraded bumper for late 2024. This came out. So this van is based on a Fiat Ducato, and the 140 brake horsepower engine comes as standard, so there is a 120 brake horsepower, but you do get the upgraded version as standard, which is great. And let's take a look inside. So, starting with the door, we've tried to get this on our van and I can't seem to find it anywhere, but it's like a little metal clip down here, and it lets the door open just halfway, so now it won't close unless you pull the handle and close it. So that's actually something I really would like on our van. We're going to start in the front. So this is on a Series 8 Fiat Ducato. It looks very modern. This screen is not standard, so yeah, that looks like a very nice screen, but it doesn't, I don't even think it comes with like a radio or CD player. You do now get an airbag as standard, which you didn't used to get in the old van. But yeah, it looks nice and modern. It looks easy to use. It's got cup holders down here instead of a tray. Our van's got kind of like a cupboard bit that opens and then you can store things in there. It's got a steering wheel, it's got cruise control, air conditioning, all the things that you'd need from a new van. As you can see, like this Pioneer system is an aftermarket system, and they fitted like a little microphone down here. So yeah, that screen is definitely an extra. The front blinds, which pull up from the bottom, although it's stiff, they are also extra, so they don't come with the van. And above the cabin, there's a few little storage areas, but maybe enough to put a pack of Smarties or something. Yeah, you wouldn't fit much up there. And then it comes with these nice hard-wearing fabric seats with leather sides. So overall, I'd say, yeah, it's a very nice van. I'm going to find out if the seats go low. So in our van we have this problem where the seats are too high because the base is too high, but in this van they seem to be lower. So Fiat seem to have listened to their customers and made the seat bases lower. So that is a much more comfortable driving position. So it's got a great seating position. You can see clearly out ahead. The seats are actually very comfortable, and you get 2 armrests that you can pop down. So yeah, I'd be happy driving this van for a long distance. This is actually more comfortable than I was expecting. So far, so good. So I'm struggling to understand why this van is so much cheaper than its rivals, because you get a nice leather steering wheel, nice gear knob. Everything feels like exactly the same as it would in the normal van. So it's got to be the back of the van, basically the build, that makes it cheaper. So let's go and find out what this van is really like. So the price of the average camper van in the UK is £60,000. This van is £5,500 cheaper than the average camper van. Has 2 travelling seats and it sleeps 2 people. So both of these seats swivel around to make a nice living area. And from the front into the back, the quality actually looks quite good. Like, there's nice switches, a nice Thetford fridge that is powered by electricity. I don't think that's going to turn on. It's got a small freezer compartment. Down here, huge storage area, and I'm assuming that's the table leg for the table that will sit in the floor. But yeah, that is a big area, and it's got a coat hook at the top as well. So that's a bigger storage cupboard than you'd get in most vans. To the bathroom. This is the moment of truth. This is where maybe it's cheap. Interesting. So I can see it's not a wet room, so they have a shower curtain. That is a big no. But looking in, I mean, it looks like they've used the space very well. Now I've noticed there is no skylight, no window, so it is just this tiny vent. So you'd have to use, obviously, the light if you're in here. Hi everyone. Nice mirror. Does that open? Oh, that opens. There's some cupboard space in here. I think they've used the space in here actually very well. Nice sink that folds down just like this with a tap. So that's quite handy. So when you fold that away, all the water drains. That must be where the drain goes. A toilet. Everyone's seen a toilet. But yeah, they could have made this into a wet room and it would have been a bit nicer. The actual floor space, there's quite a lot of space in there, but yeah, it still wouldn't be a very nice place to shower because the rail sort of runs around. It'd be very cramped. And that shower head, I mean, that does look quite cheap. So let's move on to the kitchen. This is probably the cheapest looking area of the van. So the bathroom doesn't look too bad. But yeah, this just feels cheap. It looks cheap, probably because it is cheap. So in here you've just got a small sink and 2 gas burners with this protective glass screen. The sink and hob does feel very 90s, and very cheap. And then down here we have a grill. Is it an oven? I think it's just a grill, but correct me if I'm wrong. That looks just like a grill to me, not an oven. And it only says grill, so... which isn't bad, but yeah, an oven is always great. But then in here, look at the size of this cutlery drawer. Like, that is ginormous. This van has got very, very good storage. Loads of cupboard space. And the cupboards don't feel too cheap. I think the worktop definitely lets it down. So in there's sort of like all the piping and the switch to drain the boiler. And then along the whole side of this van, so obviously you'd use this one for kitchen things, are these cupboards that feel very good quality, and they've just got a little release handle behind them. And if we open them up, it's nice that they've got divides, so it keeps all of your things in one place, stops them sliding up and down. And they go quite far back, and they've got a little lip. Let me put something in there so you can see the size. So if I pop my phone in there, you can kind of get an idea of how big they are. You've got a little plug in the kitchen, which I personally don't think is in the best place, because obviously when this glass screen's up, kind of blocks the plug. You get this tiny glass screen, which you'd probably want to replace, because if you were cooking anything on that, it would definitely be splashing over onto these actually very nice seats. So this whole contraption slides out and makes a double bed, or you can use it as 2 single beds. So in the roof we have this small skylight at the front, which just opens up like that, and then it has a huge skylight at the back, which would be great for laying in bed and stargazing. And then I like what they've done with the windows, so they've got this kind of like soft leather, and then the windows come with blinds. This is standard, so that is something you also get with the van. Blinds and fly nets on every single window. So I just want to show you the underbed storage in here. It's absolutely crazy how much space there is. Like I could fit in that gap. That is huge, and it's not taken up with any like batteries or anything like that. It's literally just usable storage space. So there's also storage space under the bed. Those buttons are broken already. Oh, that's not good, is it? Oh, there we go. And that's where your batteries are stored. And there's the mats for the front of the van. It doesn't actually come with carpets. And that one's broken. Not a good start. So yeah, when you're stood at the back of the van and you look forward, like the van feels just like really open and spacious. And I think these white walls really help just make it light. And there's some reading lights back here, which is also a nice feature. And then there's a little socket up here, which has 2 USB ports. So that's great for charging your phone. The van now comes with a solar panel as standard, which it didn't used to. So that's also a good feature. You probably would want an extra solar panel, or yeah, maybe another leisure battery, but it does now come with a solar panel as standard. This cover is irritating. I'm trying to fix this. So a lot of the time in camper vans, the beds are too short, which is the reason we went for the van we did. So I'm now going to try this bed. Oh, do you know what? I think that's long enough. That's actually, once you get your pillow in there, like that's actually long enough. And then obviously once the bed's made, your feet can then hang off the end. So this definitely passes the 6 foot plus bed size. I would also love to demonstrate the table, but there is no table in here. But the leg goes in there and it just screws into the floor once you take that cap out. And then the table would be down here, so you'd eat your dinner down here, and you'd also sleep down here, which I'm not a huge fan of. So I've just got the spec sheet up here, and if you want an Auto Trail Expedition 66, the starting price is £52,516. Obviously, this van has a few extras, so this van is £54,152. So even with the extras on this van, like the screen and the paintwork, it is still cheaper than any other new camper van on the market. So it's quite impressive how they've done it. And I don't think they've had to skimp that badly on quality. They've done a pretty good job. Like, the seats are nice. The layout wouldn't work for me personally, but for a lot of people, this layout would work. The only area where this van is let down is the kitchen. I think the bathroom, you don't see the bathroom. It could do with the skylight, but it hasn't got one. But yeah, the kitchen just, even though it's got a lot of storage, it just looks cheap and it feels cheap. And the hob and sink, yeah, is not great. Up here you have all of the controls for like the heating system, the water system. Don't think anything's going to turn on. We actually have this exact system in our van and I'm not a huge fan of it. And then you have light switches up here as well. This is something I haven't seen before. Obviously it's not going to turn on. It's a pretty basic system, but it works and it's functional. So I was asking myself before, would I rather have a 1-year-old Elders CV20, which has a very similar layout, or a brand new Auto Trail Expedition 66? And I think I would still go for a 1-year-old Elders CV20, only because of the extra features that it has. This up here looks like a light strip that you'd get, and the quality of the bed and the material actually feels quite hard wearing. There's a nice kind of like soft leather on the ceiling. Yeah, I think it could be a lot worse, especially for the base point. And it also comes with a toilet and a shower, which for me is an absolute must when you have a camper van. It's just a shame that the kitchen lets the whole van down. And I would definitely consider looking at the second-hand market, because if these vans are £54,000 new, then second-hand they must be in the 40s. So yeah, I would 100% recommend looking at a second-hand Auto Trail Expedition if you're going to look at one. The only downside with the second-hand one is someone might have pooed in the toilet. And this van also comes with a 70-litre freshwater tank and a 70-litre wastewater tank, so you can carry more than enough water on your adventures. If you had a budget of £60,000, you could then add so many extras to this van that, yeah, you could make it a lot nicer. So this exact van in 2021, brand new, was £36,995. This van now, brand new, is £52,516. So that is an increase of £15,521 in the last 4 years. I mean, that is an insane increase. That is because of supply and demand. So obviously over COVID, everyone wanted a camper van. So then the demand came so high. And then they weren't able to get the parts to build the chips for these camper vans. So to get hold of the materials was a nightmare. We had to wait 18 months for our camper van. Now new vans are pretty readily available. The second-hand market is coming down a lot, so I would definitely recommend looking at a second-hand camper van. So there's a second-hand Elders CV20 for the same price as a brand new Auto Trail Expedition, but this is a 2021 van, so this van is already 4 years old and it's done 37,000 miles. So that's the kind of thing you can go off. We have an Elders CV20, which is the same layout, which is £59,000. So this is about £5,000 more than the Auto Trail. Almost instantly you step in here and you realise this is much nicer. It just feels more homely, more comfortable. It's got a lot more features. It's probably got just as much cupboard space. These seats are absolutely lovely. So being in here, I'm looking and thinking, is this worth £5,000 more? Because it has the same lights, it has the same reading lights. But I would say it probably is, only because this kitchen is much nicer. And yeah, I feel like a kitchen is quite an important part of a camper van. It has exactly the same fridge. So some of the features are exactly the same. The bathroom in the Auto Trail Expedition is better, even though it doesn't have the skylight, because they've made use of the space much better. So they've put everything along that wall, so then it gave you all of this space, whereas in here, the sink protrudes out, those cupboards stick out. This is not a fun experience. It's interesting that the bed still goes across that way rather than lengthways, because yeah, I feel like you could obviously still sleep that way, but then there's this weird gap in the middle. Like, why did they not fill this gap? They could have easily used those cushions to fill that gap. Interesting. So yeah, I would probably recommend paying the extra and getting something like the Elders CV20. It just has a nicer feel to it, and it just has a nicer finish. And I'm not just saying that because I have an Elders. Like, yeah, I genuinely think this is much nicer. So I just want to say thank you to everyone for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. there is a new video coming out next week, and it's going to be one of the most interesting so far. So yeah, please tune in for that.